Hello lads and lassies and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mr. Mayhem. Today we will be going over the 10 biggest surprises of 2023 in terms of movies for me. Now these are movies that I'm extremely surprised at how much I enjoyed them or how good they were. But before we get into this, if you do enjoy this, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description, and these will be in no particular order. So, well, apart from number one, which I'm actually think I'm going to keep that till last because it is probably the biggest one for this year. So first up, we have Saltburn. Saltburn was something that I kept seeing the trailer for, and I was a bit... it's a Lyle situation, except this film's actually really, really good. I mean, Lyle's good as well. It's not, but it's different. But Saltburn is unique. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It is very weird. It's quite funny. Gorgeously shot, insanely well acted. I loved it. I thought it was just an absolute I don't want to say anything about it, but I loved it. It was a 5-star for me, and I think if you liked Promising Young Woman, you'll probably like this. Maybe not as much, but you probably will because it's the same director, Emerald Fennell. But I do recommend Saltburn because it is great. I'm not going to say much more on that. Then we have Thanksgiving from Eli Roth. Now, this is a director that I don't really like. Hostel. I've not seen Green Inferno or any of most of the other stuff, but I was curious about Thanksgiving because it looked interesting. And holy fucking shit, was this film a ton of fun. One of my favourite horrors of the year, and probably Eli Roth's best film in my opinion, or at least from what I've seen, and just everyone else seems to agree with that as well. But it's just such a fun throwback slasher. The gore is great. The characters are fine. It's funny at points. I really fucking enjoyed it. And I think you should definitely check it out if you're a horror fan, because I loved it. And I'm so excited to watch it again when it comes out on Blu-ray. Then we have Five Nights at Freddy's. Now I do have an issue with it, which I think everyone else does. Is it does feel held back. It does feel tame. But I do enjoy it for what it is. I think arching the story, or sorry, what's the word? Holding the story together with Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike Schmidt, having his brother be abducted by, having that mystery, and then you find out, oh, it actually is this. If you've not seen the movie by now, I'm surprised, because that's been out longer than Saltburn, but I really enjoyed it for what it was. I do think it is very tame, and I hope it goes further in the next one. But for what it is, I really did enjoy it, and it was a big surprise, because I was expecting it to be quite shit. Then we have Saw X. I love the Saw films. Most of them just because they're dumb. But this is one thing I was so hyped for it this year because the marketing on Twitter was insane. It was so funny. And personally, I love this film. I think it's the best Saw film since the first one. It shows a different side of John Kramer. And yes, he's still this psychotic madman, but it shows that it shows a different side to him. You make him, you actually feel sorry for him. Yeah, I think it is really, really good. I saw it 6 times in the cinema. I'm probably going to watch it again very soon. But yeah, I really, 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 really love Saw X. Or Socks, as I called it. Then we have The Creator. The biggest surprise of this is I didn't even know it was coming out until July. That's when I first heard about it. And I was like, oh, it's Gareth Edwards. Oh, I love Godzilla 2014. I love Rogue One. Monsters is okay, but I need to rewatch that at some point. But I ended up really enjoying it. I loved it the first time I saw it. The second time I loved it a little bit less, but I still think it's great. I think the visuals are insane. The score is really good. The story, while a bit generic, I was invested in, and I think John David Washington does an incredible job, as does everyone, and I think it is just one of the most visually stunning films I've seen in ages, and I'm very excited to pick the 4K up for this. By the time this is out, I should have the 4K for it. So, but yeah, really, really, really enjoyed this film. I'm sad that it didn't do too well, but I'm just glad it got made. So, then we have Gran Turismo, which I saw 6 times in the cinemas as well. Funnily enough, or was it 6 or 5? I can't remember. Funnily enough, this was a film that, going into it, I was a bit skeptical about. And the first time I saw it in 4DX, I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. Then on subsequent viewings, I enjoyed it more and more and more, and now I love it. I think it's such a fun underdog film. Yeah, it's a bit generic, but to me personally, it hits all the beats perfectly. and I fucking love it. I think the pairing of Jan, or I don't know how to say his name, but Jan, and I fucking forgot David Arbor's character's name, but I love their dynamic, their chemistry. I just love it. I think it's great. Then we have TMNT Mutant Mayhem. This was something I was expecting to either be really good or really shit, and it turned out to be really good. The animation is fucking gorgeous. It's quite funny. The story is great. While not like perfect, it is still a really solid start, and I'm very excited to see where they go with this. But I think it's fantastic. Then we have Blue Beetle, which I was already invested because it's the lead from Cobra Kai. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Zolo, but I loved it. I thought it was a great kind of story about family and haha Vin Diesel joke, and I loved it. I thought the suit was great. I thought the fights were great. I really fucking enjoyed it, and I love it, and I think it's great. I'm really sad it flopped, but I'm glad that hopefully he'll be back again, because I really enjoy him as the character, and I love the suit. It looks so good. Then we have Strays, which I think is fucking hilarious. I've seen this film, 6 times now, and 7 times, and I just think it is I just think it's so funny. There's also a therapeutic part to it. I don't like seeing animals abused, so the whole thing for me, I'm just along for the ride, and the payoff for me is just perfect. The musical cue they use for it is hilarious. I love it. I think it's so funny. I'm really sad it flopped because we won't get any more, but I'm just glad it happened because, good shit. Really fucking funny. And then the biggest surprise of this year, hands fucking down. The rest you could all interchange, some more than others, but the biggest surprise this year, hands fucking down, is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This is one film this year that I did not have on my bingo card being so fucking good. I thought at the very least it would just be a bit cringe and, like a middle of the road thing. I saw it 3 weeks early at an unlimited screening, and I fucking loved it. It is funny, it is exciting, it is emotional, it is gorgeous. Give us more of these. Now that everyone knows it's good, people will probably go and see it. Chris Pine, just everyone in this film is incredible, and it's probably the biggest surprise of this year. I fucking loved it, and I wish it did better, and I hope we get more because it's just fantastic. But yeah, that was the biggest surprises of this year movie-wise for me. Let me know what some of your biggest surprises were, of how much you enjoyed stuff. And I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy this, remember to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe for more. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.